How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Whew, where do I start with this one? Well, yesterday, about 8,000 of you guys so far saw my video that I posted yesterday that was titled, let me just check what it was called. It was titled, The Worst Update Jagex Added to RuneScape 3. Now, maybe that title was a little bit strong, to be fair, but of course that is just a click game for YouTube. That is just the way that it works, and that's just what works, so that's what went with that. However, I wanted to make this video today to clear up a few things, because a lot of it was received wrongly, but to be honest, and in all honesty, that is just my own fault. It just is. The way that a few things were mentioned, and honestly, I missed out a few important details, and my point, or my actual opinion of it, kind of didn't come across how I meant it. It's weird. When I was recording it, of course, I don't really use a script much. I write some little notes down and I go off those notes and I just sort of give my opinion on stuff. However, I prefer that way because I don't have to sort of go off a script. I'm not overly careful with what I say normally, because that way it's more actually my opinion rather than sat there stressing people are going to be annoyed by this, people are annoyed by that. However, this time it isn't because I'm worried people disagreed or anything. I love when people disagree. It's so good. It's so good when people disagree because it gives me a different opinion sometimes. My opinion will change completely. However, this time it hasn't changed. I just need to freaking correct myself a little bit because it was just a little bit wrong. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to just talk about the same sort of topic. I may even basically make this as the same video, but today we're going to cover it maybe just a little bit better. We'll see what happens with it basically. But if you did see the video from yesterday, this one's still be worth watching, I suppose, because I'll be correcting it. Well, not even correcting it, just adding the context that it needed and just making clear my actual thoughts on it, because I didn't really cover everything that I should have covered. The video got long. I think I was stressing about what the actual length of the video. Today, that doesn't matter. Let's just get this done. Alright, so one thing that I am absolutely happy that I'm able to do is read through comments, and when they are negative comments, I can read through them and understand why they're negative, rather than just getting defensive and going, no, you're wrong, don't be stupid, blah, blah, blah. That is not, it's just not something I do. If you guys are disagreeing, there's usually a good reason why you're disagreeing. And in this video, in this case, it's because I wasn't clear in making sense of what I was trying to say, and there was a big misunderstanding, but that's my own fault. I know, man, there were some valid arguments in this comment section. However, I agreed. I agree with 9 out of 10 of the arguments that you guys provided, because there were things that I should have said in the video as well, but just completely forgot to mention, or just didn't notice that I'd not mentioned it, or thought I had and just hadn't been clear enough on it. So I will take that on the head as a learning experience, and we will just move on from that one. However, I feel like the topic is still important to cover, because I still stand by my opinion on it and my topic, but I just needed to add that little bit extra to it. So that's what we're going to do today. But either way, I'm still standing by the fact that I think Revolution, specifically for new players, Revolution Plus, not standard Revolution that just does your basics, Revolution Plus, which uses your ultimates, your thresholds, by itself is something that is just bad for new players coming into the game. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the things that were misunderstood first, and then I'm going to talk about my reasoning behind it, and then I'm also going to just go through a couple of the comments and explain my opinion on those comments, and just sort of make sure I cover everything, all the issues that people had and stuff, because like I said, there were valid issues, and I am absolutely able to look at this and be like, yeah, I messed up a little bit here. So this time we're not going to do that. We're going to make sure I cover everything, and we're going to make sure my point is clear. If you watched yesterday's video, you probably don't need to watch the entire segment of this, so I will do a timestamp in the bottom if you want to just jump to the end bit where I'm clearing up all the other different stuff and that. If you're interested in that bit at all, there'll be a timestamp, you can jump to that if you're interested. But otherwise, let's talk about this properly, shall we? Okay, Revolution Plus. Revolution Plus is where you have a Revolution bar that automatically uses every ability that is inside that Revolution bar. There's certain things that won't be used, but we don't need to talk about that too much. Most things, 9 out of 10 abilities that you find will be used, and that's absolutely fine. It's great. It's a good quality of life update that was added to the game, and I completely agree with this. This is one of the things that I forgot to mention as well, or didn't mention, because I was just on my typical rant of not really paying attention to everything that I was saying. Revolution Plus is a great update for the game. It makes Slayer more accessible to a lot of people. It means that you don't have to pay attention 24/7, and it makes the game a little bit more AFKable, and it is great for places like God Wars 1, God Wars 2, basically content that doesn't need your full attention. It is absolutely great for those. Also, there's going to be people who play the game who just literally physically cannot do as many actions per minute as they would like to do, whether that's something to do that's a medical thing with muscles and stuff, or any other reason. But there's people that do struggle with that, and that's absolutely definitely something that will help them out, and I'm glad that it's there for those people. I don't want those people to get punished because of something like that. That is absolutely ridiculous. Why would I want that? I definitely don't. Another thing was people saying that I shouldn't be telling people how to play the game. This this is a game that they could play on their own. You can play it however you want. And guess what? I completely agree. Guys, I have stood by this for I don't know how long. A lot of you guys that have been around for a long time, right? And I know that there'll be plenty of people who saw this for the first, like my first video. Damn, that's unfortunate. But there'll be plenty of people who know me for a long time, and you know that I do not like when people tell you how to play the game. I am probably the complete opposite to that. I play the game however I want to play the game, and I've always suggested to people, if you go back and read through a lot of my videos, not read through them, listen through a lot of my videos, you will literally hear me saying, play the game however the hell you want to play the game. Do not let people tell you how to play the game. Don't always feel like you have to do the most efficient thing that people say. And this is literally like something that I stand by a hell of a lot. People who always used to come into my streams when Magic was dead content and say things like, oh, why are you using Magic? That's just stupid. And I would just be like, but it's fun. I enjoy Magic. It's better. If I'm having fun and take 10 minutes longer to kill a boss, then I'm having fun. Great. Perfect. This video as a whole was just a topic to talk about something that I actually genuinely believe does affect the game in a negative way, and that specifically is that Revolution++ as the base, when you start a new account as a brand new player joins the game and starts doing combat, Revolution++ is the default. It is the default option. It was already on. You don't get the option. You don't get as a player the option. Do you want to do full manual? Do you want to do Revolution++? And do you want to do Revolution? And then it doesn't give you like a description of what each one is. It absolutely should 100% give you that choice right at the beginning, but it doesn't. It throws you directly onto Revolution++. Now, while this doesn't harm every single player, it will harm a lot of players. People who want to get in towards endgame content and want to actually work towards doing bosses and all this other stuff, Revolution, maybe as a default, would have been better, just standard Revolution, which is where it will use your basic abilities, but thresholds you will have to manually do. This may have been a better option to have as a default, but overall the better option would have been for Jagex to give us a window with a small combat tutorial that said, this is how combat works in this game. Maybe show an example of like a bot doing combat or something, or just your character just watching it basically, and then saying, these are the combat modes you have options to choose from. Which one would you like to continue on with? Which one suits your playstyle better? That would have been so much better, and it would provide the opportunity for people to actually choose whether they want to be slotting their abilities and using themselves, as most MMOs, most big MMOs will manually have you press every ability. It will not use everything by itself. RuneScape is a different story. It is useful in a lot of places to have Revolution++ and Revolution Standard as well, but most of the MMOs will have you do that, and the reason that they don't struggle so much with combat and understanding it is because as you unlock every ability along the way, one at a time of course, you even have to, most MMOs, pick which ability you want to unlock next. However, in RuneScape, you just get whatever is next in the combat system, right? That's absolutely fine as well. But as you unlock that ability, you slot it onto your action bar, and it also will tell you what that ability does. You will read through it, you'll understand what it does, and that's so important. And I think that is something that people get robbed from when the game automatically puts it on Revolution++. Don't get me wrong, I understand that not everybody will just not read the abilities when it gets slotted. A lot of people do though, and I know this because I make YouTube videos based on new players, and I know a lot of people always say to me, I don't understand how my abilities work because I've not really ever had a reason to read through them. And I know there'll be a lot of people watching right now who can confirm the same in the comments, because there was a ton of people in the last video that did exactly that and explained that, yeah, I'm actually max combat and I have no idea what most of the abilities do. I've just sat and read through them, and holy hell, there's a big difference. Like, there's so many of those comments, and it's great to see, and I'm glad that video had a positive impact for a lot of people, but it's definitely something that I needed to remake and just cover a little bit better. So I feel like a lot of new players are robbed of the opportunity of actually having that experience of, oh, I've just unlocked a new ability. Getting a prompt that says, you've just unlocked the snapshot ability. This is what it does, and it gives you a little box on the screen, just like it would anyway, but it pops up on your screen, you have to dismiss it, but it tells you this rapid fire ability will do this many hits, and it will do this much damage over time, and the first hit of the actual thing will cause a bind for about 6 seconds, or whatever it is off the top of my head, and then it is a channeled ability, meaning if you move or use another ability, it will be cancelled. That little tooltip that pops up on your screen and then tells you to slot that ability where you want to slot it would lead to a better understanding of combat throughout the entire game than where we are now. And having a system that, one, tells the people at the beginning, do you want to do full manual? Do you want to do Revolution that only does basics? Or do you want to do Revo++ that will do everything for you? That, plus the fact that when you get a new ability unlocked, it tells you what it does, it explains how it works, and it gives you the option to place that into your action bar yourself, then that would lead to such a better understanding than just Revolution++. Here's 3 abilities to begin with. Here's some more stuff that you don't know about. Every time you unlock a new ability, we're not even going to tell you that you've unlocked a new ability. We're just going to chuck it on the action bar. Maybe you'll notice, maybe you won't. We'll suggest that you just click on the boss and wait for it to die to begin with. And even though for a lot of people that is the preferred option, at least you've had that option in the first place. A lot of people are not going to want that option to begin with. They're going to want to know that eventually they're going to be killing these big bosses. Like, so many people come to RuneScape because they've seen the bosses that we have. They've seen the combat system that we have, and they think it looks fun. They think it looks like something like a challenge that they want to do. But because they get Revolution++, they get there the whole way through with that, and they've never had anything to tell them that they should be going on and maybe investing more time in working stuff out and actually seeing how combat works. So they get to the end game and suddenly they're struggling big time. They're really struggling big time. They find out about what Revolution is. They find out about what full manual is on their way there. But it's daunting at this point. You've never had to go through it. You've never read through all the abilities, and you've never had a reason to even change or consider the other ones. But now that you're there, you now suddenly have to just either switch to full manual and just relearn combat as a whole. You've got to sit down and do keybinds through the whole thing. Whereas as you were leveling up, every time you got an ability, if it then suggested that you just add one little keybind to it, use it or not, would you like to have this on number 1? Would you like to have this on a number like number 2, number 3, or like Q, W, E, whatever? Like, if it just suggested that along the way and slowly, gradually, like got people into it and built their way up, it will be such an easier learning experience than when people get to endgame and just go, boom, I want to do Raksha, I want to do Telos, I want to do AOD, I am on Revolution++, I now have to relearn 40 hotkeys, all because I want to do these bosses, and it's just not fair. And guys, for you guys that have got that far and have not had that opportunity because it has just been chucked at you from the beginning, that isn't fair. It's not fair on you. It's not the player's fault. It is not. You're not a lazy player. You are not someone who is bad at the game. Someone who uses Revolution++ and only uses that is not bad at the game. It's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people who use Revolution are bad. I am not saying that people who aren't using full manual and aren't playing the way I play are bad at the game. That is not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that you even should do that unless you want to. If you want to do that, then that's why I'm talking about this. But let me make this clear now. I would never say that someone in this game is a bad player. I would never say someone's bad at RuneScape because, one, there's nothing that says this is how you should play the game. There's never been anything that said you should play the game like this. You have to do it like this. There's no, you are good at RuneScape, you're bad at RuneScape. There is a game that you can play however the hell you want to play. And if you want to play the game the way you're playing it, then you're good at that. Do you know why you're good at that? Because you're playing the game style that you want to play, and that's good. You're just good at what you want to do, and that is not a problem. If you are trying to learn a boss, that doesn't mean you're bad. That means you've got room to improve and that you're working on stuff that someone else might have already done. Someone who can do, for example, Karapak in 4 minutes shouldn't then say that someone who's doing it at 7 minutes is bad at the game, because that person at 7 minutes may not want to even bother getting to 4 minutes because it might be more effort than they feel it's worth. They may have only just started doing the boss. There's so many things that get into this that it doesn't make that person who's slower or just not as efficient bad at the game. They're playing a game the way they want to play it. That is just not how it works. But at that point defended, maybe I get a little bit defensive on that bit, because that is something that I have never stood by and like even allowed. If people leave negative comments replying to other comments and stuff that are like calling people bad, I remove those comments instantly. People who disagree, people who don't like my opinion and stuff, I am more than happy to have a conversation with that and leave those comments up. But when it's like someone saying that someone else is bad or anything like that, that stuff gets removed straight away. Have a scroll through, you'll struggle to find stuff like that. You may find the odd one here and there, but trust me, nah, that does not stand with me. People who play this game, they can play it however they want to play. But I like to offer stuff like this as a discussion, as something that we can all talk about in the comments, and you guys can happily disagree, you guys can agree. And that's the entire point of these like ranty videos and stuff, right? I personally think that as a brand new player, Revolution++ shouldn't be the default. That's what I was talking about. That's the update when they made that a thing, because it wasn't always a thing. It used to be full manual, used to be the basic, right? And it would actually let you know that you can change to Revolution. This was a thing. It used to be a thing. But then they made it that Revolution++ was just the default. It automatically slaughtered your abilities. That, I think, is the issue that holds people back. A lot of people back. Not all people. Maybe not even most people, because I can't possibly do that research. But a lot of people get held back because they don't understand their abilities, because the game never gives them the reason to do so. And it just gets to the point where you've leveled up all your stuff and you don't really understand combat as much as you would like to. Now, when I say hold you back, that doesn't make you a bad player either. It doesn't mean that you can never learn. It doesn't mean you are bad at the game. It means that you kind of have to learn in a worse way. You've been disadvantaged by the game design, and that's what my opinion is. My opinion is that at the beginning, you should get the option. You should have the full entire decision yourself. Do you want to play full manual and read all of your abilities and have to work it out yourself, which is going to be difficult, but it will pay off in the long run? Do you want to use Revolution? We will automatically slot your basic abilities in an order that makes some sense at least, and then you will have to manually slot your ultimates, your defensives, your thresholds, and we will suggest that you read them. In fact, it should be a thing. Every time you get a new ability, it should automatically say you've unlocked this ability, and then it should give you the tooltip. It just should. There's no reason it shouldn't. You just click a little X and it goes away. Or it should, at least when you're starting the game and you are doing like a little mini combat tutorial that really needs to be added as well, it should just say every time you get a new ability, you will find them here. We will give you a little notification, whether it's just a little flashing box or anything like that, that you've got a new ability, and then you'll have the opportunity to read the ability tooltip here, which we suggest doing. Something like that will be absolutely great. But just throwing abilities at people, like loads of them, just there you go, good luck, have fun. It's just confusing, it's overwhelming, and it's just not good for the new players. Now, just to sum up, I'm basically aiming this at the people who are trying to get into endgame PvM, the people who want to do high-level bosses. Every video is not going to be for every viewer. This could not be aimed at you. It could not be absolutely aimed at people who don't even want to do these big endgame bosses anyway, and Revolution++ could be the best thing that's ever happened to RuneScape for you. But this is a video talking about something that is holding people back for the people who want to do that, the people that it is affecting those people, and it's trying to draw attention to that, and also just create a discussion about it as well, right? For Slayer, for AFKing, for anything, it is absolutely a great quality of life thing for the people who would prefer to use it. It definitely shouldn't be removed, but maybe, just maybe, it should be a different option at the beginning. Maybe give us the actual option, or give the new players the actual option at the beginning and explain it more. Give it a little bit more in depth and the combat in a little bit of a tutorial maybe. This is what I was trying to explain yesterday, and I hope it is received a little bit better today. That being said, I am not saying that standard Revolution cannot be used in late game. End game, high-end PvM, standard Revolution with basics and stuff is absolutely viable. Like, it really is. Use all your basics whenever, and then when you need to, you use your thresholds, you use your ultimates, you use your defensives. Like, that's absolutely possible. Loads of people do that. It's not a thing. I'm not saying that you should be able to do that, but I'm also not saying that you cannot do Revolution++ in these big bosses at all. I'm not saying that you cannot do it. I'm saying that technically you're going to be struggling a lot more. Like, you are really going to be struggling a lot more hitting DPS checks, using things like defensives at the right time and stuff. It's going to be hard, especially if you've never actually gone through and read your abilities. But like I say, that's not your fault. That's not the player's fault. It is just the fact of that's just the way the default is for a lot of people. You just don't have a reason to do it, and it makes full sense. But anyway, again, keep in mind, this is my opinion on the topic. You don't have to fully agree with it, but it is great to be able to hear you guys in the comments and actually understand the thoughts. And like I say, I read through all the comments. I always read my comments, even if I don't reply to them, because I wasn't replying to a ton of them yesterday because I was just thinking through it all, making sure I understood what everyone was saying, and I wanted to properly clear it up and make it clear what I was trying to say to people. So this video has done that. Anyway, I'm going to go through a few comments now just to sort of write off a couple of things that I may have been able to miss even in this one. There's not going to be any names tied to these comments, and the video that these comments are attached to are now unlisted, so don't worry, no one can go back, no one can harass these people, no one will ever know who they are, because that is not something I would like to happen, and I am going to keep that video unlisted, because even though I am sure it'll probably get double or triple the views that it was currently at, I'm not fussed, doesn't matter, that's not the point. I feel like this video will be a lot better for people, and we're going to stick with this one. Right, so we're going to do the comments like I said now. If you're not interested in this bit, then that's absolutely fine. You can click off the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, all that sort of good stuff. And hopefully, for anyone who was disagreeing in the last one, maybe this has cleared a few things up, but we'll have to just see how this one goes, shall we? But let's take a look at these comments. Like I say, no names, nothing like that. So let's just clear a few things up, shall we? Alright, so the first comment says, I'd quit before playing without Revo++. I did quit for a good while after EOC came out. Your entire argument is, people are lazy and stupid, so can't have nice quality of life things. This is your worst hot take by far. If I wanted to sweaty slave over my keyboard, I'd go play Dark Souls or something. Okay, so this was probably one of the more like full-on ones, to be fair, but I get what you're trying to say, right? But my entire argument is absolutely not people are lazy and stupid, so can't have nice quality of life things. I didn't actually say in the video, I'm almost certain of it. In fact, no, I know I never said that Revolution++ should be fully removed. I just wasn't clear enough that it shouldn't be the default, or it should have an option like tied to it, rather than just saying like, right, this is what you're doing, this is what everyone's having, and we're not even going to tell you that there's other options available. As for the bit where you said this is your worst hot take by far, I can absolutely agree with that. That was done so poorly. But yeah, I would never ever say people are lazy and stupid so can't have nice things. For one, I would never say people are lazy and stupid. But there's no reason why anyone should not be able to use Revolution++ should they choose to. It's just, I was just trying to explain the fact that as a new player, it kind of holds you back and it kind of limit you, and the fact that a lot of people just won't bother reading their abilities and stuff. And again, that's not their fault. That is purely down to the fact that there's no reason to. It doesn't tell you to, and it doesn't even suggest that you should. It just throws them on the bar and you just continue on your way. The next comment says, I don't think it's bad. For example, you can do AFK bosses, main reason why it's good. I actually mentioned this in the first video as well, but it was very short and probably not very clear. But I agree, like Revolution's great for AFKing stuff. I think I said for anything like God Wars Dungeon 1, God Wars Dungeon 2, anything that's AFKing like Slayer and stuff is absolutely brilliant. But this was specifically targeted at the people who are struggling to get into endgame bossing using Revo++, and just trying to help those people who are aiming for that, even the people who aren't there yet but are aiming for it, to understand that this is a thing, and this is definitely something that holds people back. But also, it's just a topic. It wasn't telling people how to play the game. It wasn't telling people that they should change and do whatever I am saying they should do. It was purely just me saying, like, just a topic in my mind saying, like, you know what, this actually might be a bad thing for the game. What do you guys think? But absolutely, Revolution++ is great for AFKing. It makes things like AFKing bosses and doing Slayer so much more chill and easy. The next one says, garbage title for a garbage take. I mean, I could totally see where you're coming from. The title was way off. It really was. We've gone back and fixed that now, so I could definitely sleep easier at night. The next comment is quite a long one, but this is the last one that we're going to do, and it says, I understand why you feel the way you do about Revo++. However, it's my opinion that if the player wants to learn more about the combat system, it's on them to do so. If they don't want to learn about it and are fine using Revo++, then that's how it should be. RuneScape is a game about choice and enjoying the game the way the individual player personally prefers to experience things. To me, all it sounds like you're saying is that Revo++ equals bad and you're a bad player if you use it. Though I know that is not what you're actually saying. I get that you want people to be the best they can be, but forcing them to do so rather than letting them reach out and do it on their own is, in my opinion, worse than not bothering to learn about it at all. People want a choice and not to be told what to do. I mean, regardless, there are always going to be people who try to find the path of least resistance and try and make things, or bosses in this case, easier. So this comment I thought was absolutely brilliant, and I thought that the person was pretty much spot on, except for the fact that where they said that, one, it sounds like I'm saying Revolution++ equals bad and you're a bad player. I can get where they are getting that from. I understand why a lot of people thought that, but there's definitely 100% not what I was saying in any way. And even though you even said, like, you know that's not exactly, you know that's actually not what I was saying. But also, I wasn't forcing people to do so with saying, like, oh, you should definitely be doing this instead. And I don't think taking Revolution++ out of the game is a good choice. I think the better choice, like you've even mentioned as well, will be giving them that choice at the beginning, like actually giving them the option of a window that says, do you want to play with full manual, Revolution, which does your basics, or Revolution++ that is going to do pretty much everything for you and will automatically slot all the stuff for you. That is definitely the better way to go with it. But I just wanted to give, it was just a topic, like I say. But yeah, I definitely agree that people shouldn't be forced into doing it. Absolutely not. But I don't think they should be forced into having to have Revolution as well. Like, I don't think people should be forced to have to do full manual. Definitely not. But at the same time, people shouldn't be forced into having to do Revolution++. I'm not understanding that every time these abilities are getting thrown on there, they're actually going to have like another 50 by the time they get towards endgame that they're probably not read through because the game doesn't help them out. But I love this comment. I think it's great. You've obviously actually thought about what you're going to say before you said it, and I really appreciate that. But these are the sort of comments I love. Like, you have literally said, you've called me out on stuff that I've done wrong, you've given me the negatives, and you've said that you understand this and that, but like, it's just not toxic. It's something that we can all learn from, and I really appreciate it. Anyway, guys, that's the last comment I'm going to do. I really appreciate you all watching. I hope this has cleared up a few things. I hope it has made the topic a little bit clearer on what I was trying to say, and I hope it removes quite a lot of the negativity from it, and I hope it is more useful to you in this than the other one, because like I say, I agree the other one was a little bit crap on my point. I think I dropped the ball a little bit with that video, but that's fine. It's going to happen every now and again, and I'm sure you guys will be around then, just as you were then were now, to make me aware of it, and I really appreciate it. So don't stop doing it. Freaking make sure you do it. Like, it's so good for me to learn from that. Like, I will definitely be learning from this, and when it happens again in the future for something else, I'll learn from that too. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thank you to the channel members for your extra support. Your names will be on screen now. As always, I really do appreciate the extra support. Thank you very, very much to you. Otherwise, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.